Success comes to those who think that they are successful. And yet, most people don't actually think this about themselves. The Thinking Yourself into Exponential Results series on the podcast comes to you every Saturday morning and takes what we discuss in the Morning Mindset Club, compiles it into one easy to access recording, and gives you some killer bonus content at the end that's not to be missed and only available here. So let's dive right in. Hello, and welcome to the Morning Mindset Club. We are studying the self-confidence formula, and we are in the second step of this self-confidence formula. Hill says, second, I realize the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. So he's advocating here the power of visualization. He's advocating here the power of imagination, of using your mental faculty of imagination to see where you are going in order to give a clear directive to your subconscious through making your vision one of the dominating thoughts of your mind. So this is one of the things that I challenge my Spirit of Wealth clients to do with something called the Creation Playbook, where I challenge them to get really clear about all aspects of their lives, not just their financial world. And who do they want to be? What kind of life do they want to live? You can do this too on your own, okay? I happen to have a formalized process for it, but right now, please just start thinking, who is the person you intend to become? And spend a half an hour thinking about that. Now, think about how you blow this off, okay? Most people, even given this instruction, will not create the time for this. They will say it's not that important. They will say that emptying the dishwasher and folding laundry is more important. They will say that writing that newsletter or watching that TV show is more important. And yet, this is one of the most important things you could do for yourself if you want to be successful, if you want to achieve what you want to achieve. My definition of success is not your definition of success. Maybe there's some similarities. Maybe that's why you're attracted to me. Maybe you want some of the same things. But quite frankly, we're individuals. It might be resonating at some level similarly, most likely. That is how the law of vibration works. And yet you are an individual and you have your own personal desires. What are they? Who do you want to become? And are you willing to spend 30 minutes a day thinking about that? Now, let me give you a few tips. Showers. Probably not taking a half an hour shower, but it's a great place. While you're doing something else, like emptying the dishwasher, folding laundry, instead of thinking about how you don't want to be doing that task. That's my own personal example. I used to complain about folding laundry in my head all the time. Instead of using that time to imagine who I wish to become when you run, when you work out, when you take walks. And then juicy, beautiful time when you're sitting in the hammock or taking a long bath or on the couch, or when you're just waking up in the morning or when you're just falling asleep at night. All of these are great times. So be courageous, be bold, make bold decisions for yourself in favor of yourself so that you can become truly unstoppable. Hello, hello, and welcome to today's morning mindset recording. So here we are. We're doing the self-confidence formula right now, and we are in step 3. Hill says, third, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. So let's dive in here. He says, I know through the principle of auto-suggestion. So auto-suggestion, in case you may have missed this, is the practice of saying to yourself again and again and again and again the thing that you wish to be, do, or have. And you are automatically suggesting it to yourself through this repetition, and it gets embedded in your subconscious. And when something is embedded in your subconscious then has the directive to play it out, to execute on it, to go find the ways and the means to make that happen. And this is true of things that we've consciously placed in our subconscious, things that have been placed by others in our subconscious, or things that we have unconsciously or subconsciously placed there for ourselves. So consciously placed there, subconsciously or unconsciously placed there for ourselves, and through our environment and through other people. So he says that through this principle of autosuggestion, any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. So any desire, not practical desires, reasonable desires, acceptable to my mother, father desires, any desire that you truly want, that you personally truly want. It can't be someone else's desire. It can't be some obligation. That's not a true desire. So anything that you desire, whether it's far-fetched or crazy, it's your desire. What we don't know is how long it will take to manifest it. But any desire that you persistently hold in your mind, persistently, that does not mean that you change your desire every other day. It does not mean that you think about it once and then hope that that's enough. It's persistent. It means really, quite frankly, all day, every day. Okay? And of course, you're thinking about other things throughout the day, but are you consistently, regularly, throughout the day thinking about it? I learned constant space repetition as a practice. That means you are consistently repeating something in a fashion that is constant and spaced evenly. Constant spaced repetition. It's spaced apart and you're doing it consistently, repetitively, constantly. Okay? So it's not just one and done. Okay? And he says it will seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object back of it. This is so fundamental. If you say want an amazing relationship and you hold the vision of that amazing relationship in your head, you will start seeing your partner or lover or husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend. You'll start paying attention to that in the other person and affirming it. It will be very practical to affirm it. Or you'll start seeing it in someone else and you'll recognize that you're missing it over here. And you'll see, oh, the practical means is to have a conversation about it or to bring it up or to get out of the relationship, right? There will be some movement, some practical movement forward. The same thing with making money. If you hold that desire, you will start seeing the very practical things that you need to do if you devote the time to this. Then you need to take bold, decisive action in favor of that which you see, the practical means that come to you. Bold, decisive, continuous action. Okay, with that, rock it out and be unstoppable. Good morning, good morning. Here we are, the 4th step in the self-confidence formula. Here, Hill says very succinctly, I have clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. Okay, so 1, do you have a clearly written down description of your definite chief aim in life? Do you? Do you have your goal written down? Now, this was a bit confusing for me, to be honest, when I first started this process. I was like, well, I have my goal for right now, but I don't even know if that's my definite chief aim in life. Like, my definite chief aim in life is like to be happy, to feel free, to feel delighted, to feel joy, to feel love, to feel freedom, right? It was much more feelings-based. Because truly, I think what most of us are going after in the do and the have side of things is how we want to feel, our feeling state. So my bigger, loftier goals were around that. And I got confused here. And I also got confused around whether my goal was going to be the same in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. Do not sweat this. You have a definite chief aim right now for where you are. What is that big, big, juicy goal, okay, that you are going after? Start with that. As you achieve your goals, you will create new goals. It is fine. You will discover your bigger life purpose. That is great. I discovered my bigger life purpose along the way after I'd already entered this journey of defining my goals. So I started with just defining my goals, and as I moved towards them, my purpose became very clear, and I got clearer around my definite chief aim in life. And so I have meta aims in life, and I have more immediate goals that I'm going after that are in service of those meta aims. So, do you have either your meta aim, your big chief aim, your big purpose in life written down? And do you have your big juicy goal written down? Go with both, or go with just the goal if that's where you're at, which is perfectly fine. It is absolutely where I started. And are you willing to commit to never stop trying to achieve that aim until you have developed, I'm saying this incorrectly. He says, I will never stop trying until I shall have developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. So you're never going to stop trying to achieve that aim until you have the self-confidence to achieve it, at which point you will achieve it. Isn't that fascinating? Okay? So here, make sure you've written down your description of what you want in life, and you have committed to developing the sufficient self-confidence to continue to try to attain it, thus attaining it. Okay, with that, rock it out. Be courageous, make bold decisions. Have a great day and be unstoppable. I'm Amira Alvarez. Hello, hello. Good morning. And here we are in the 5th step of the self-confidence formula. I love this one. Let's dive in, okay? I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude toward others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I would just put that on repeat for you guys, for yourself. Such a good section. Really super powerful. So no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Now, here's the challenge for us. Truth and justice, although we think it's a singular thing, it has actually quite evolved over time. The Supreme Court of the United States, for instance, keeps evolving based on precedent. What is the law of the land? For instance, social decorum, manners, acceptability have changed over the years. So what's truth, right? It's relative. And this is so challenging. What is just is based on what you think is true. So it's relative. This is very challenging. I get that. And so no wealth or position can long endure unless it's built on truth and justice, but it's going to be your own truth and justice. And this is where it gets very confusing for people. People will look at someone who is uber wealthy and think that they're being unethical. And from your perspective, they absolutely are. And why doesn't their wealth come crashing down? Well, it's because from their perspective, they really believe that what they're doing is truthful and just. Now, oftentimes people lose a lot of their wealth because they don't believe that what they're doing is truthful or just, and eventually they will pull themselves down. So this is a challenging thing to evaluate in the world out there. I get that. And yet for yourself, you need to build your integrity. You need to build your ethics. You need to know for yourself what is true. And many people do not. Many people are outwardly defined. They're looking outside of themselves for what is right, acceptable, true. And that causes them all sorts of angst because they never know for themselves what their personal grounding is, what their place of truth is. And this is so critical for building your wealth and your life and to move forward without a lack of confidence. You want to be confident in yourself. But if everything is outside directed, how can you be confident in yourself? You're giving all your power outside of yourself to those entities, systems, people outside of yourself. He goes on to say here, I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. It starts with your willingness to serve others. Are you of service in this world? I do not care what your role is. Are you being of service? You know it. You know that you are, and you know that you're not. That small, tight place inside that says, no, I'm not going to do that. That is not being of service. Are you serving? Now, this doesn't mean that you do everything for other people. It does not mean that you abdicate boundaries or clarity, but you are showing up in your strength, in your genius, in your wisdom, serving the way you're meant to serve here in this world. And you start with that. And when you serve like that, other people will want to help you. He goes on to say, I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity. Do you have a negative attitude towards other people in your daily experience? Whether this be your partner, your family members, your team members, your employees, your contractors, the people that you hire, the people you interact with in the grocery store. Are you in judgment of others? That's never going to bring you the success that you truly desire. So please look to that as well. This is a longer recording because I really want you to understand how important this is. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. Such a critical piece there. Do you believe in others or are you cutting them down? Do you believe in yourself? Chances are if you're cutting other people down, you're actually cutting yourself down as well. Because like matches like. So if you want to change your internal feelings game, change how you are thinking about others. And that will grow you immensely. So much to say about this, but we're going to stop there. Okay, be courageous, make bold decisions, be unstoppable, and have a great day. A quick heads up. If you're loving this material, you can access the full Success and Wealth Consciousness program we have to help you achieve your big financial goals and life dreams for free at theunstoppablewoman.com/mindset club. You will have access to daily trainings and mindset practices to help you stay focused, clear, and in action. So go get it at theunstoppablewoman.com/mindset. Good morning. Today we are finishing out the self-confidence formula. So this last section that I will read is the commitment section. Hill says, I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. So let's break this down ever so quickly. So this is a formula. It's step by step. You want to work the formula like a recipe. Don't skip any steps. Okay? So if you just listened to the last few episodes and didn't actually clarify, take the action, please do that now. Write it down, go back and read this in the printed material so that you have it very clear for yourself. Are you going to sign your name to this formula? Are you going to commit? Putting your name to something has a much stronger emphasis, energy behind it than just saying, yeah, I'll do that. Or yes, I'll do that in some sort of affirmative, but not like, I'm putting my name to it. My name, my honor, if you will, is at play here. So are you going to commit to it? And are you going to put your name to it? And he's asking you to commit it to memory and to repeat it aloud once a day. So that's a pretty significant amount of stuff to memorize. And I would start with just reading it out loud once a day. See what happens for you. See if the words get embedded in your memory. See if you really make it your own. And are you doing it with full faith? Not with I wonder if this is going to work. Prove it to me, right? That's not engaging in the process with full faith. Full faith means you believe it's going to work. You're certain it's going to work. You know it's going to work. You already see it working. Okay? You're already in it, like this is it. And the last section here, I think, is also important. Faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts. So this isn't a overnight miracle, guys. This is I am changing a deep-seated conception of myself that's been with me probably for years, if not my entire life. I recognize that I need to change it, and it's going to gradually change my thoughts. Now, this doesn't mean that it's going to take the same amount of time to gradually change your thoughts and actions as it did to create it, or that you've been holding on to it. No, it will happen a lot faster than that. However, if you do it for 3 days and think it's going to change your entire life and beingness, I'm sorry, you'll be sorely disappointed. However, if you do this consistently, if you really think about how self-confidence is behind the ability to go out and do what you need to do in this world, and you know that you need to build that in yourself, then really applying the self-confidence formula is a place that you want to work. And it will help you become more self-reliant and a successful person, because you will be relying on yourself to take action, and action is a key fundamental aspect of translating your desires into actual riches, if that's what you're going for, riches, money, if that's what you're actually going for, or riches in other aspects of your life, if that's what you're going for. Okay, with that, I'm Amira Alvarez. Be unstoppable, make bold decisions, be courageous, and go out and slay the day. Good morning. Great to have you here in the Morning Mindset Club. Today we are going to be talking about auto-suggestion. And this is really the thing that's behind the self-confidence formula. You are suggesting to yourself over and over again a new self-image, understanding of yourself, and you're feeding that to yourself again and again. Hill says here, the important fact about it is it works for the glory and success of mankind if it is used constructively. On the other hand, if it's used destructively, it will destroy just as readily. In this statement may be found a very significant truth, namely that those who go down in defeat and end their lives in poverty, misery, and distress do so because of negative application of the principle of auto-suggestion. The cause may be found in the fact that all impulses of thought have a tendency to clothe themselves in their physical equivalent. Now, Andrew Carnegie said, and this is a quote, "Any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate form available." So how does it do that? And what does feared or revered mean? So feared means you have a thought, I'm unlovable, or you have a thought, I don't know what I'm doing in business, or you have a thought of, I'm going to fail because I am so confused, I'm so overwhelmed. That's a fear, okay? That's an idea that's being held in your mind that is a fear. You fear that coming true, and yet it will find form in the most convenient and appropriate way. So you are sending a directive to yourself to go find out how to make this manifest, whether you're conscious of it or not. Now, what's a revered thought? A revered thought is a constructive thought rather than a destructive thought. Something that's revered is something that you love, something that you aspire to, you honor. Okay? So this is really important when it comes to finances and achieving your financial goals. Because if you, behind the thought of making lots of money, have a thought that it's going to make you into a bad person, that it makes you greedy, that it will turn you into someone you don't like, that's a fear you're going to make manifest that. If you instead adore what money allows you to do, how it serves you, how it can help you help people. If you have that love of what it allows for you in your life, how it allows you to grow and become more, do more, and have more so that you add more to the life of everyone, that's what will begin to grow in your life and become made manifest there. Okay, so look at the thoughts that you are thinking throughout the day. Okay, there's always a thought also behind the thought, and I think that's where people get a little bit confused. So what is the thought you're thinking, and what is the implication or the thought behind the thought? That would be a really useful thing for you to look at today. So take a look at that. Okay, I'm Amira Alvarez. Be unstoppable and go out and slay the day. Good morning. So glad to have you here in the Morning Mindset Club. And today we have a poem for you. So this poem reads as follows. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find, success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win the prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Okay, that's a sweet little poem. Okay, so the meaning of this is quite obvious, right? Think you can and you will. Think you will and you'll do it, okay? Success comes to those who think that they are successful. And yet, most people don't actually think this about themselves. I know that was true for me. I had confidence. I had a certain level of positive self-image about myself. I was capable in many ways. It wasn't all like I'm a loser, right? That wasn't all that was there. Just to put it in very black and white all or nothing terms. But there was a lot underneath the surface of me thinking that I wasn't good enough, or thinking that I didn't have what it took, or thinking that I was deficient in some way. And the truth was, I was. And that's the rub. And yet the thing that turned it around for me was learning how to think differently about myself and actually hold myself to a higher standard so that I could improve my skill set, so I could think in a more success-minded way with more of a wealth consciousness. And it required that I held myself to a higher standard. I had to learn this material and apply it. And that took, quite frankly, that took someone outside of myself mentoring me in how to think differently about who I was in truth. But then it took me committing to ever increasing that, bettering my best, okay? Because someone can help start the engines for you and can call you out on where your thinking is undermining you. And that's one of the things that I do quite regularly with my clients. It's so important because you don't see how you're doing this for yourself. Or let me say it differently. You only see it to a certain extent. What you see is important for you to see. You can work this on your own, but the fast tracking comes when someone who's working from a higher level of awareness, and this is not a value judgment about you as a person, good, bad, better, best, anything like that. It's just someone who has worked at this longer and can see things that you can't see for yourself. When that is applied and that light is shined on you, you instantly jump to a higher level. That's the fast tracking that can happen. So you want both. And this is exactly what I did to quantum leap my life and my business. I did both. I didn't hand over the controls to someone else and say, you're responsible for me, because that's just not true. But I did hire people to help me see what I couldn't see. And then I did what they told me as quickly as possible. I did not reject it. And then the second thing is I worked this myself. Okay, so I took that personal responsibility on for myself. So how do you do this for you today? So for you today, there's two things. One, underhanded pitch. If you want someone to hold the light to you and help you work on this, you know where to find me. There's a consult button on this page. You need to book that, and we need to have a conversation. Okay? Don't keep waiting. Okay? Now is the time. Okay, that's my little underhanded pitch. The second thing that you need to do is you do need to work this for yourself. Okay? So every so often today, throughout the day, stop and notice the meanderings of your mind. Where has it gone off to? What are you actually thinking about right now? And are you in a negative spiral down the rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland, but going to not that amazing place, but the crazy making place? Okay. With that, I'm Amira Alvarez. Be unstoppable and go out and slay the day. For the bonus content of this episode, I want to go back to a piece of the self-confidence formula where Hill says this: I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them. Okay, there's so much richness in this quote. And in light of the current inflection point we're experiencing in the United States, that's highlighting centuries of injustice and racism, you might ask, how long is long enough, right? He says, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure. So when he says, cannot long endure, how is long enough? Certainly, it's obvious that much wealth and position, status in this case, has been built upon untruths, inequality, and injustice, systemic injustice for years. So the answer is, I don't know how long is. If you're interested, by the by, in understanding more about sort of the systemic way these injustices are embedded in our society, there's lots of education that you can go get on that. But one place that I would encourage you to look is to watch the movie 13th by Ava DuVernay. It's on Netflix. It was a very enlightening documentary that really shows just one aspect of how this kind of injustice is embedded into our system. So it's worth educating yourself on these things when they come forward. So to answer the question I pose, personally, I don't have the answer to that. I don't know how long is long endured, right? I don't know how to answer that. What I can say is that each and every one of us can run our business and our lives in a way that's built on truth and justice, and do the best we can with the information we have. We are not perfect humans. We will be imperfect with this. We will make mistakes. And yet, if you approach this by expanding your knowledge, expanding the information you have, and then doing the best you can with it, you will be moving this situation forward in a positive direction. This is about a continuous process of evolution, of growth, of doing better. This is about being willing to be undefended and see how you can do better and hold yourself to a personal higher standard in this regard. And this is going to require that you act and risk making mistakes. You are not perfect, nor am I. I'm not perfect. Yet we can simply keep asking ourselves how we can do better. Now, the answer becomes better by what standard? This is really up to you to decide. But I think what Hill says here is good. Does it benefit all whom it affects? Asking yourself that question is an important litmus test. It can really jog things open for you, burst you out of your bubble, if you will, expand your perspective. Now, I don't want you to use this to get into an intellectual quagmire where you don't act at all and you start making decisions from a place of guilt or seeing the infinite potential for negative consequences and then not doing anything. Okay, that doesn't work. Okay, but use it to expand your perspective. You know, and the kind of decisions you can make, and start making decisions from a bigger, larger place. Okay, what impact can you have? Are you having? Open an internal discussion about that with yourself and the people on your team, in your world, your friends, contractors, mentors, employees. You know, open your mind. And I know many of you are doing that. This is just another angle for you to expand and ask the questions that quite frankly need to be asked. Lastly, to finish this out, how are you developing love for all humanity on an individual basis? I get that we want to think globally, think about all our society, the systems, the what's happening even in our communities on a larger level. And yet, you also want to act locally. How are you in your one-on-one conversations? How are you showing up with individual people? Be good. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Sending you lots of love right now. Be unstoppable. Rock it out. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us and for being part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. This special series is a part of our Morning Mindset Club and comes to you here on the podcast every Saturday morning. If you'd like to join the Morning Mindset Club at no charge, you won't have to wait a whole week and can listen to this series in short daily snippets every morning. Plus, you'll get a quick implementation practice and mastery check-in to go along with it. You can find the Morning Mindset Club info in the show notes below, or just head over to theunstoppablewoman.com/mindset club. And as always, please share this podcast with 2 or 3 women who are ready for exponential growth and exponential wealth. And if you're game, we always appreciate a review on iTunes. That really helps us reach and elevate more women. Thanks so much, and be unstoppable.